think it's a mood.
You're listening to Chasing Prophecy Radio, where we discuss anything and everything beyond the scope of normal. On UPRN Talk Radio FM 107.7 in New Orleans.
Oh. Wow, that was fast.
Yes.
Good evening. Welcome to Chasing
everybody?
Prophecy on the UPRN Radio Network, 107.7 in New Orleans and 105.3 in the Gulf. We're really glad to have you here. We are where we discuss anything and everything beyond the scope of normal. I'm Jenny Nicasio, along with Tom Callway. Chasing Prophecy broadcasts on many platforms, including Roku and Facebook and YouTube, and please share the link. What else can we say? Thank you so much.
We got
for
Facebook,
being
we
here.
got the YouTube, we got Spotify and SoundCloud. So
yeah, and we're so happy to have you in the audience today, Nicole, and any other people that come in. Make sure you share the link. That's how we get known, and we can bring you more content, huh, Tom?
You know it. The more people that listen, the bigger claims we'll have to make. You know how it goes, America.
Yep. We're so glad to have you here. So, Tom, there's a lot of crazy stuff going out there, starting with, Donald Trump. They're going to be going to pretty soon. They're going to, whatever they do. So what do you think is going to happen?
Whatever they do. Oh yeah, the debate's coming up soon, so that's going to be interesting. You know, we'll see what happens with that. I would love to be a moderator, and
Hi,
you know, not to Cindy. Hello, how are you? And not to get into any of that, but my questions would absolutely be nothing to do with the country or how it's ran. I would ask, which one of you are going to classify alien documents? And that's really all that I'm going to ask over the next 90 minutes of what that would be. So, you know, I would ask that. And then maybe we'll bring in Dr. Melvin Vopson too. He can shed some light, you know, have a subject matter expert who will be on this show June 18th. Everybody mark your calendars, June 18th. Dr. Melvin Vopson, the leading expert in the second law of infodynamics, and I'm not going to pretend to know what that is. He does, though. And really what that shows is that we are living in a simulation. So I'd love to pick his brain on that. And Jenny, here's a little fun fact for you. I wanted to read his book. He wrote his dissertation. It made it into a book, right? About all of the information, all that kind of good stuff about his claims. And I could not find it on Amazon, the US version.
Did he say he's in the UK, right?
He's in the UK.
Yeah.
So I said, I have to buy it from the UK. Can you buy it? I'll, send you money, PayPal, whatever, and you can just ship it over to me. He said, I have a copy. I'll just ship it to you for free. No problem. I got it. I started reading it, and this dude is a genius, man. This guy, not only does he know what he's talking about, but me, I am not a scientist. I'm not going to pretend to be a scientist, but he puts the writing in words that you can understand. And I think that's a real sign of intelligence, is you can explain it to a layman person, right?
Yep. I hope you can understand it. Well, hopefully everybody can. I mean, sometimes I use scientific terms that it's hard. If it's technical reading, I can't read it. So.
It's not technical reading. He just goes into, here's the data, and this means this, and to you it means this. He takes it, step by step, which I appreciate, because I'm not going to, I'm not into sigma symbols and all that kind of good stuff, and 10 to the negative 478. You can learn that. Not me. But we have all that coming up. We've had a big rash of TikTok videos that we're going to share later on.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot going on.
Absolutely. And talk about it. And you know who you are on TikTok, who, I reached out and you tried to, pull one over on us, I guess. But, we were able to get some information further into some of these videos, and we'd love to share them. Later. Jenny, everyone loves your hat. Everybody always loves your hat game.
My cool hat. You know what? My head's getting too big. It's just to be able to fit in the screen.
So we have a hat growth issue too, or a head growth issue.
I have a hat fetish.
It's what
Okay.
they're putting in the food. I'm telling you.
I
No, I'm
have
kidding.
I have so many hats. I got these kind of hats. I got these kind of hats. So I'm gonna get a sailor hat
Some
next.
girls have shoes. You have hats. I guess that's how
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, I like
But
hats.
I am very excited for our guests. Let's get them on and talk to them about their our first. Well, this is continuing our theme of international.
We
And
have how many guests tonight? 1 or 2?
one.
Okay.
And international, same as last week. Canada, our brothers to the north,
Oh, she's in
and
Canada?
yep, Canada as well. And actually, she's traveled all over, so it's going to be great to pick her brain. But little bio for her. Amber Gelina is the owner
Jalina.
of the Right Choice and of Vancouver, sorry, copywriter who specializes in branding and storytelling. She uses clever copywriting and takes ordinary business and turns them into legendary brands. A sober queen, she is passionate about mental health awareness and ending stigma. Rock on, girl. Same here. She's known for her soulful insight and witty banter. She brings tons of personality and entertainment to the table. She's in the process of writing an exciting tell-all about her time in Australia and journey through reality TV. When she's not working on her book, you'll find her traveling the world and sharing her self-care tips on Instagram. So, Amber, welcome to Chasing
Welcome
Prophecy.
to Amber. Nice to have you.
How are
Uh,
you?
We're doing well. It's nice to be in a company of a celebrity TV
Oh,
star here. Absolutely. So, I mean, look, you've been on you've been on The Bachelor in Australia, and then a producer in a Sanctuary, a short, and The Doctors, an episode, which I watched The Doctors before. I do enjoy that show. But before we get into any of the questions, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
a little bit about me. Well, I am Chinese, French, and Métis. That's my
Ooh,
ethnic heritage.
exotic.
I'm Nicole, and I was born in Canada, but I came from a really international family. I mean, with dad being Chinese, we're Chinese, but we live in Vietnam. My dad's side of the family, and my mom's side is French Canadian. And then my mom remarried, and my stepdad actually worked overseas in Russia for a majority of my life.
Wow.
And my parents always told me the world is a big, beautiful place. If you ever have the opportunity to go and to live somewhere else and to work somewhere else, go and explore the world. And I started traveling at a really young age. Well, at the time I didn't feel young. Like I started traveling when I was around like 13, and I felt like I knew everything. And I started modeling when I was like 16 and, traveling on my own for work and stuff like that. And it was just a crazy, wild adventure throughout my teens and my 20s. And now I'm in my 30s, but I low key feel like I'm in my 50s. I feel like such an old soul. And I'm like, I just want to do some cross stitching now and buy a tiny home in the middle of Saskatchewan, Canada, and just chill out and live the simple life. I've lived a million lives and I just want to chill now.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds definitely a lot of world experience. If you end up moving to Saskatchewan and live in a tiny home, you got to come back on if you have any like Bigfoot encounters or anything like that. Because I think
obviously.
Yes,
absolutely.
definitely. Bigfoot.
So, you certainly are well traveled, and you've been all over. And I didn't even know about your background and all of that kind of stuff. Can you give us a story or two of any interesting local lore that were stories that you found throughout your travels?
There are so many local kind of like colloquial type of stories wherever I come from. And in Canada, it's definitely like people talk about like Bigfoot and stuff like that. Or growing up, my grandparents on my mom's side, my stepdad's side, both lived at the lake. And there's this Turtle Lake monster, and people swear by it. So Grandma and Grandpa Gelina, they lived at Turtle Lake, Saskatchewan, and people swear by this Turtle Lake monster. And I have never seen it. I remember people walking around with like t-shirts that said like Turtle Lake Monster on it or like whatever. And I remember being like, Grandma, what's that? Like, is it safe to go to the beach? And I remember being so scared as a kid, thinking like this monster is going to eat me up or something. And she was like, oh, that's just make believe. But in the back of my mind, I was like, is it?
Jenny, you know what that reminds me of? When we had the
Mm.
guest on, and I'm blanking on her name, but about a month or two ago, who was talking about the Frogman.
Oh,
That's what
yeah, Mr. Frogman.
that's that's what it reminds me of. But a lot, a lot of people and a lot of towns, local businesses, when they get a weird story like that, it endears them to a community, right? So they want to advertise that, have a little festival. I'm sure you've seen or heard of the Mothman Prophecies. West
Yes.
Virginia, Point Pleasant has the Mothman Festival. Roswell, with the alien crash, they have a Roswell Festival. And I like that. I like that because we all can't be the biggest, newest city, right? But as long as you have
Yeah.
something endearing to locals, you're always going to attract visitors. So I think that's wonderful that they do that.
See, and for me too, I'm not so much like a folklore monster kind of girl. I'm a ghost
Mhm.
girl. Like you
Mm.
want
Okay.
ghosts, I will talk ghosts all day, every day with you. I swear, like I'm gonna go real Sixth Sense on everyone. Like I see dead people.
Do you see
But like legitimately from a young age, I remember being like, there's a ghost in the house and thinking that and feeling that. And it was interesting because my dad, actually, my biological dad passed away when I was young. And from a really young age, I could feel his presence and I could feel him. And I've since gone for like psychic readings. I've met with shamans. I've gone to healers and stuff like that. And they're like, yeah, your dad reaches out to you and like you've felt him before. Like you've like felt him tuck your hair behind your ear. You felt like him talking to you. Like that is real. What's going on? Because when it first started happening, I was just like, what? What is this? Like, am I going crazy? Am I in psychosis? But no, I definitely feel that. And I definitely have a strong connection to, the spiritual world. And I don't know, do you call the spiritual world paranormal? I don't know. I just think about it.
I think
do.
you do because it's above normal or supernatural. It's above natural world. So I think in that aspect, the definition, because paranormal and supernatural, real quick, is like a catch-all for all types of different things. You can be in the paranormal world but not care about everything under that umbrella. You know what I mean? Like for
Yeah.
example, with you talk about the spiritual world, and maybe you're not under the cryptid monster hunter type thing, but you are under this one, and they all have their little niche underneath that big umbrella. So don't ever think it's just one thing or the other. It can be a ton of things. But one thing you said about your dad, and this is really great because this is what we call a segue into the next question. We all have our own ways of receiving clues or guidance. Some people call it their gut, some people call it intuition, what have you. How do you receive clues about guidance in your own life?
For me, it is a couple of things. So I get goosebumps all over my body. I'm talking like hair standing up. I mean, I'm half Asian. I don't really have hair, but it stands up where it is. So there's that. And then sometimes too, my left foot will start tapping. Like it will start like incessantly tapping until I acknowledge what's there, until I'm like, okay,
That's
thank you,
crazy.
thank you for that. And that'll happen. And then in terms of like physical signs, I always see feathers. And for me, it's seeing a black feather is definitely a sign from my dad because I see white feathers all the time, but seeing like a black feather just really stands out. And then, ooh, Nicole, I know the feeling. Okay, thank you. Yes. And then the other thing is, this is so random. I actually don't know if I've told anyone this before. The song Three Little Birds by Bob Marley. And every little thing is going to be all right. There have been so many moments in my life where I have been like, what am I doing? I am at an all-time low. I don't know what I'm doing. Before I did The Bachelor, it was a crazy story. And I was on the other side of the world. I was 26 years old.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to do the show. And then there was a little kind of, and they were like, well, we don't know if you can do the show now. And I'm like, well, that's inconvenient because I quit my job and I was a live-in nanny. So I'm jobless and I'm
Oh,
homeless.
wow.
They
Yeah.
look the same. And if I don't get to do this show, I'm just on the other side of the world, jobless and homeless, trying to work out life. And then I was just like, okay, I know this is all going to work out. I know it's all going to work out. Give me a sign. And I started hearing that song. And that song is kind of like I don't know if you call it an omen or what it is, but it's appeared for me throughout my life whenever I haven't been sure of things. And I would be like walking down the street and a busker would be singing it. I'd go into a shop, it would be playing. I'd get into an Uber, it'd be on the radio. Like, it was insane the amount that it was playing. Like, it was clearly not just a one-off coincidence. And every time I hear that song, it's exactly when and where I need to. So that's another sign that I get.
Okay, perfect. Now with your there you go, okay. Lovely.
Yeah.
It's a good song. And you know what? It's a great way to point you in the right direction. Is this right or not? And you hear that, you know it's right.
Exactly.
Wonderful. So I'm not sure if this is through your upbringing, because you talked about being half Asian, right? So one of the big spirituality principles over there is you get guidance from your past loved ones who have passed on. And one thing you have mentioned to me is that, you get spiritual message from your passed on your loved ones. You know what I mean? How does that affect you and your guidance as well?
It affects me hugely. I actually speak to my loved ones who have passed, and I call them my spirit guides. And that's something that Shaman Durek talked to me about, who we'll talk about a little bit later, because I never really knew what to call them. And other than dad or whoever. And the thing is that there's so many loved ones who have passed that come through. So I call them my spirit guides, and I speak to them every night. And it's almost like doing a prayer, I would say. Like, I kind of have this thing that I say to my dad to get his attention. And I'm not going to do it because I'm too shy. But it's like a way that I say his name. And then I'll hear him say my Asian name back, which nobody calls me my Asian name. Only my dad would. And so I'll hear him and he'll say, like, yes, Kai Tam, which is my name, Kai Tam. And I can hear him. And again, while I'm doing this, my foot will be tapping and tapping as I'm calling him. And then as soon as he says, yes, Kai Tam, my foot will stop.
Wow.
Interesting.
Totally involuntary.
And then I'll be able to have a conversation with him. And sometimes I talk, sometimes I listen. It just depends. And sometimes I'll get really busy with life and I won't speak to my spirit guides. And I'll start getting the signs, the feathers will show up or the song will start playing. And it tells me, like, I need to connect to my spirit guides, especially my dad. And once I do, he's always like, daughter, you haven't spoken to me in a long time.
Daughter.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's really cool to have this connection with him and to do spirits visit me in my dreams? I've felt that off with me. Oh, all the time, for sure. Yes.
When was the latest?
Oh, like last week.
Oh, wow. So fairly often.
Yeah, super often, especially my dad, my grandfather on my dad's side, and my grandmother on that side.
Wow, that's very interesting. I am often jealous of people, Jenny, who can remember their dreams.
Yeah.
I wish I could. I'm not the best meditator. I wish I was better.
You should keep a notebook by your bed, then you can pick up. You can write it down.
I've heard that too, and I really should do that. And who was the shaman that you just said?
Shaman Durek. So I actually wasn't that familiar with shamans. I had seen a shaman before. I don't know like how legit she was, and I wasn't really sure about what is the difference between a shaman and a psychic. And to be completely honest, I still don't know the full difference. I wish I did. I should have researched that because this would be a prime time moment to let that one
Well,
out.
it's a shaman isn't a psychic. They can't read your fortune.
They don't read your future. A shaman is someone more of like a spiritual guide who typically has practices from a different culture. That's been my experience anyways. Like the one shaman I saw, the first shaman I ever saw, she was indigenous. And then Shaman Durek, I forget where he's from, but I know that he's connected to some tribe. I wish I could remember. But typically they have a really soulful, really deep connection to the spirit realm and to the realm of higher self and higher selves. And with Shaman Durek, what he has, what does he call them? He doesn't call them spirit guides. I think he says council. He calls them his council. And he'll be like council members, and he'll actually acknowledge them. Like we'll be in the middle of a conversation and be like, yeah, okay, council. Yes, council. Thank you, council. Okay. And then he'll give you a message. And it's so bang on. It's so intense. It's unlike anything I've ever seen. I've never seen someone who could operate that quickly and who was that accurate and who saw into the deepest depths of my soul without knowing me.
All right, this is going to sound, crazy, but I would think you're going to get a more natural experience from a shaman from an indigenous tribe, somebody who's more in tune with the energy. And if I were to have to define both of them, I thought shamans were more focused on like health here and now, where psychics and mediums are like afterlife and things like that. But I could be totally, wrong in that. But one thing with, shamans is they do practice a little bit of medicine, a more holistic style, which is actually gaining more traction here in this country. And, through uses of aids of like YouTube and things like that. Did you learn anything on the doctors about like the holistic medicine approach that they might use?
It wasn't so much holistic medicine as much as it was healing and trauma healing. It wasn't medicine based. It was more like spiritual therapy. That's a good way to describe it.
Okay.
And how can I say this? He basically did like a reading on me and was like, the episode we did was all about love blockages. And he was like, this is your problem. And this is what happened to you in your past. And this is what's blocking you from getting ahead in your future. And until you deal with these things will always be in your way. And what you need to do is this, you need to cleanse yourself from this experience. And I just started bawling. And then he started like saying this ritual, and I can't remember what it was, but it had to do with water. And he was like kind of leading me through this almost guided meditation and guided therapy. And he was like, I want to picture yourself going down to the river. Think river, water, ocean, cleanse. River, water, ocean, cleanse. It was something like that. And as he was saying this to me, like my whole body was quivering, shaking, like uncontrollably. Like I couldn't contain myself. It was so intense. And then all of a sudden he was like, okay, and release and breathe and breathe and breathe it out. And I just breathed and like then my body just stopped. And I was just like, oh, like what just happened?
Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't pleasant.
It was actually very pleasant.
Oh.
It was very cathartic, and it was like almost orgasmic, like this like huge like tension buildup and this like unexplainable force took over my body. And then all of a sudden it was just like, oh, like release.
Gone, release.
And after that, it was interesting because I was on the way home and I was in an Uber and we're driving and I was like, I think I'm gonna be sick. Like I think we gotta pull over. And I like actually got sick on the side of the road. And then I got back to my place. I was living in LA at the time, got back to my
Mhm.
place in LA and I got sick again and I just like splashed water on my face and I kept repeating what Shaman Durek told me, like the like water kind of prayer. And then eventually I just had that same release again. And I like immediately text the producers and I was like, I think I'm possessed.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, yeah, we'll consult with Shaman Durek and we'll let you know. And he's like, it's totally normal. It's totally normal. And it was actually a 2-part episode. And so we met Shaman Durek first and we filmed with him and we did the cleansing and the soul reading and went through like the love blockages and stuff like that. And then we filmed again in studio, I think a day or maybe 2 days later. And then we watched it on the big screen and they filmed us watching it and our reactions. And then we talked about what the process was like for us and what had happened and any changes that had come since then. And it was crazy because there was me and 2 other girls, and we had all had significant changes within like a matter of days since meeting Shaman Durek. And I talked about the fact that I ended up getting sick, and he's like, yeah, it's really common. You had a really powerful cleanse and a really powerful release and a big blockage as well. And oftentimes when that happens, it's like doing ayahuasca and people throw up. You know, it's the soul cleansing, it's the soul purging, and the body's way of sometimes
Yeah.
physically releasing. And you know, it's so interesting, and this always fascinates me, how our mental and emotional and spiritual selves are also interconnected. And oftentimes when there is a emotional block, it can manifest itself physically. And it was interesting to have Shaman Durek acknowledge the spiritual end that was tied into that as well. And then when all 3 of those things released, it was apparently just vomiting on the side of a
Vomiting.
It has to come out physically somehow, right? And I guess that's just what it was, you know. I guess
better
it
out
had
than
to come
in.
out.
Better out than in.
Better out than in is exactly right. So thank you for that, because you know not many people would admit on a radio show that you know this is what happened, but it seemed like it really did change you, right? It seems like it really was a positive in your life, and you still remember it now. How long ago was it?
So that was in 2020. It was right before COVID.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I
it
think
still has this profound effect on you, and I bet you can still feel how you felt then, now,
oh,
4 years later.
100%, absolutely. And really taking into account the things that Shaman Durek said to me. And I still talk to him. We've actually become friends, and he has a phenomenal book. I think it's called, I have it on my shelf. I wish I prepared and had it with me right now. I believe it's called Spirit Hacking by Shaman Durek. And it's an amazing book. And he has some rituals and some meditations in there. And the book itself is just truly amazing. And it talks about spiritual healing and spiritual guidance and connecting with your own counsel and or spirit guides, whatever that looks like for you. Because something that he told me is that everybody has a counsel, everybody has a spiritual counsel, everybody has a spirit guide. It's whether or not we connect to them or not. And a lot of times that can become clouded with our own blockages, whether we realize it or not.
Yeah.
Or if we even know how to, you know,
If
many of us might
you're
not know
talking
how.
to your spirit guide and not something else.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. There is a lot. I've heard that from other, you know, not shamans, but spirit guides, psychics, mediums, is many people just don't protect themselves when they meditate. And you need to protect yourself because there are other things that can interfere with you, I guess is the best way to put it.
Definitely.
So yeah, tell me you're starting a tell-all book about your time and everything. Tell me about your tell-all book. Who should read it? Who is it for? What's it about?
Yes, my tell-all book. Well, it's about my life in Australia, and of course, the pivotal point in my life in Australia was doing the Bachelor Australia.
Mhm.
And it's actually going to be a fictional tale about a quote unquote fictional girl. And
It's okay.
mostly so I don't get sued by Warner Brothers. Let's be real. And yeah, it's going to be fiction, but it's based on fact and it's based on a true story. And it's about it's really the hero's journey and a coming of age story about a young woman who has stars in her eyes and dreams in her heart and, rose petals in her future. And she joins this, what she thinks is going to be fairy tale adventure. And it turns out to be a bit of a dark and twisted nightmare.
Oh, that's a shame.
And it's really an insight into the real reality TV and what it's really like behind the scenes and the impacts that it can really have. But it's also a story about hope and perseverance and that hero's journey coming to completion, and where she ends up in the end is a really beautiful ending. And I, as I'm writing the book, I try to keep in mind, I'm writing this for the girl that I was and the woman that I've become. And I try to always keep that in mind as I'm writing.
That's good.
That's wonderful. Yeah, and lay it all out there. Tell the people. Tell the people what it's like and how it can be dark behind the scenes. And
when does this come out, or is it already out?
It's not out yet. I'm a slow burn writer. Like, I've been writing a book for a while, I'll admit, but I don't think that you can rush the creative process. And for me, it's just getting it down on the page, getting my first draft. And with fiction, as I'm sure you guys know, being writers yourselves, you have to write the book first, and then you contact the publishers or agencies and stuff like that. So it's just a matter of getting an editor. If there are any editors out there, shout out to you. Please get in touch with me. I need a fantastic editor and someone who is also willing to light a fire under my ass. Am I allowed to swear? I should have asked. I'm so sorry. I'm so Canadian, so I'm sorry.
yeah, you're good. You're good. Say whatever you want.
Yeah, shout out to any editors. Please hit me up if you are out there. I would love to hire a fantastic editor for my book.
There you go.
There you go. I mean, if you want any recommendations, like you've mentioned, Jenny and I are both writers, we can absolutely. But yeah, if anybody listening out there, this is going out to hundreds of thousands of people. Thank you all very much. And I'm sure somebody can reach out to you, and we'll let's actually tell them how to get in touch with you. Promote everything that you are doing right now.
All right, let's get that promotion going.
Let's do it. Promote.
The best way to get a hold of me is on my phone. I'm kidding. Don't call me. No, you can reach me on Instagram. It's amber.gelina, and Gelina is spelled Gelinas. And that's the best way to get a hold of me. I also have my own copywriting company that specializes in branding, and that's The Right Choice, www.therightchoice.ca. And right is spelled WRITE. And I'm also on Instagram at _therightchoice_. And again, right is spelled WRITE. So those are the best ways to get a hold of me. And I'm sure this will all be in the show notes as well. But yeah, check out my website for sure. For any copywriting, branding needs, we're also doing social media, stuff like that. We also specialize in breakup texts. I am an all-around copywriter, and I'm not just here doing business proposals. Sometimes you find yourselves in those sticky situations where you're like, I don't want to ghost, but like, I need to get rid of this one. And you just need to outsource it. So let me be that girl for you. Let me get your breakup text going.
I like that.
We have different levels. There's the savage. We can go that route. We can go, the it's not me, it's you person. So different levels of breakup text for everyone and anyone. You just let me know. I'm your girl. I got you. Let me break up with people for you.
There you go. The right choice and the right girl.
Yes. Love that.
Wonderful. Well, Amber, thank you so much for being on our radio show. Thank you so much for everything.
Thank you so much for joining us.
You have done a wonderful job, and best of luck to you. And, not for nothing, all of your journey, keep it going, keep doing it. And it's wonderful. And please let us know when your book is out, and we can add that to the show notes, whenever.
Amazing. Thank you so much for having me. And also just want to say, Jenny, your hat is giving me like Slash vibes, and I'm feeling it. Yes. I'm really, really feeling it.
There you go.
Yes. Thank you for having me on, though. It's been an absolute pleasure, and wishing you both all the best. And to all of Cindy, all the people in the audience, thank you for tuning in. Heaps of love from Canada, and get in touch with me on Instagram. I would love to hear from you.
Peace and love.
Absolutely. And we will invite you back when you get that tiny house in Saskatchewan.
Absolutely. I will be
Just on a
streaming
live
live.
feed.
From
Just
my
have a live
house.
feed into the woods.
Yeah, for sure. 100.
For sure.
All right. Well, thank you so much. We have to get a break in, but it was a pleasure. And yeah, I'll be in touch to get all of that stuff for the show notes. Okay.
Okay, awesome. Thank you guys so much. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Cool.
All right. And there's that. Jenny, let's
There's that.
let's get a commercial break in, and then we'll get to
Okey-dokey.
UFO talk. How's that?
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Accident thanks to Lucian, an enigmatic being. Her newfound abilities catch the attention of a secretive government agency. Drawn to Lucian despite the danger, Samantha is unaware of his true identity. She teams up with Lucian's brothers in a daring mission to rescue him. Accused unfairly, Lucian seeks refuge on his distant homeworld. Can Samantha prove Lucian's innocence and save their forbidden love? From the Sky by J.E. Nicasio. Available now. Get your copy on Amazon and BNN.
Over the centuries, occurrences from the enigmatic realm have become less, well, enigmatic. So if conversations about the supernatural, myths and legends, mind-bending conspiracies, and haunting stories of ghosts are things you take seriously, we have the podcast that you can call home. Chasing Prophecy. Just because something is unexplained doesn't make it any less real. We're more than just a podcast. We're a community for those who dare to look beyond the scope of normal. For those who are aware of the abstract and interact with a show that speaks to them. Broadcasting from Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, the show stands out as the city's premier paranormal radio program, airing every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Come and hang with host Jenny Nicasio and Tom Conway on Chasing Prophecy.
Meet Daniel Knight, a psychologist with an extraordinary gift to absorb and heal the deepest wounds of the mind. In the heart of a chilling investigation, every secret unraveled binds him closer to darkness. But as he delves into the psyche of a killer, his own demons emerge. Caught in a battle within and against an evil that seeks to exploit his powers, where the line between savior and victim blurs. Dare to heal the wounds of the mind.
Welcome
Healer,
to the
read it
extraordinary
today.
world of the Chasing Prophecy radio show, where we delve into the mysteries of the universe and the depths of the human mind. Our listeners are a unique blend of curious minds and adventurous spirits, always eager to learn, explore, and discover. They're not just listeners, they're a community. And what better way to reach this vibrant, engaged audience than by advertising with us? When you advertise on Chasing Prophecy, you're not just buying airtime. You're becoming a part of a conversation, a part of our family. We offer a variety of advertising packages tailored to fit your needs and budget. And with our dedicated team, we'll ensure your message resonates with our listeners. So why wait? Grab this opportunity to amplify your brand with Chasing Prophecy Radio Show. Let's embark on this journey together. Chasing Prophecy Radio Show, where your brand meets our community. Fill out our advertising form on our website, www.chasingprophecyradio.net, to get started. That's www.chasingprophecyradio.net to get started.
Well, what a wonderful commercial break there. You guys are so lucky you didn't see us just goofing off back here. Complete clowns. But Jenny,
Yes, Tom.
TikTok is becoming let's say
Yeah.
an actually pretty useful tool for
Absolutely.
anybody who wants to learn more about UFOs. I mean, all it takes
Definitely.
is your phone and a battery charge. That's
I
all
can't
you
wait
really
to
need.
find one.
So I know. I mean, we're kind of shunned. Maybe it's alien prejudice against Pennsylvania because it's always every other state but here, and the
Yeah.
only one we know about really is one that happened years and years ago over at Chestnut Hill Ridge. Um, yeah, so I got a couple of videos, and I want to share with everyone. Um, we did actually. How about that? We switched sides.
Yes, we switched sides. That's weird. And they
Yes.
are trying to ban. They did ban. Didn't they ban it? Didn't it
No,
go
not yet.
through?
Not only one chamber, and honestly, if you ask me, it's not going to get banned because it's a money thing. They're
Yeah.
eventually, if it does get banned, it's going to come with a different name. That's it. That is literally it. They want the money going to America,
Oh
and
yeah,
it's
they
just
make a lot of money.
way too um profitable, is what I should say.
I mean, I don't know
So
what the big deal is. So what? I mean,
I know.
they say it's breaching our security, but how? I mean, what do they have of ours? Besides, if you're a creator, they just have your credit card information or your WhatsApp
Yeah.
app or What's Cash or whatever that is.
Yeah, WhatsApp is owned now by Meta, but they won't tell you that.
Mhm.
And obviously, you guys know Meta owns Facebook and
Is
Instagram. So
Zuckerberg.
yeah, so you want to hear something crazy?
Hmm.
I won't say the name of the company, but
Okay.
I've worked for a company, a major medical or healthcare, not medical, healthcare company, and they allow um they allow doctors to send orders through WhatsApp.
Really?
Yes.
That's crazy.
So, Jenny, say you lived at some place and I want to send you I send you an antibiotic because that's nothing crazy, right? You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's just but what if it was hormones, or what if it was a different type of pill, or what if it was a narcotic? You know what I mean? What if it's a Xanax
Mhm.
or a Percocet? You can now they did it through WhatsApp, which is a text messaging service. Isn't that nuts?
I wouldn't be surprised what else they do.
Well,
But anyways, let's get on with the UFOs.
absolutely. So I got a couple of TikToks here I'm gonna
Mhm.
add to this stage, and one of them has a little bit of a song in the beginning, so just wait for the 3 or 4 seconds to be over, and then it'll get into it.
They're chasing a light. Wait, put on your window. There they are.
There you go.
Is the helicopter chasing a UFO?
No,
Because that was not a plane.
that was not a plane. I don't know what it was. It was a
That's
ball
a
of light.
helicopter, and that's another light. And the helicopter is following that light. We just saw a helicopter chasing a UFO.
Does-
That was the first one from one angle. You see them driving on a highway or whatever. That's from one angle. Here is the other angle right there.
Black Hawk helicopters. The same direction that that ship was flying, from over
Wow.
there to that way.
Now,
See that you
it's
can tell
just-
those are legit.
they are legit. One thing is from that the second angle, it looks like it was behind the helicopters, but it
Mhm.
was just the height elevation. So I just wanted to clear that up for everyone. And if you're listening on the radio, please look up or TikTok UFO or helicopters following UFO, and it was within the last week, right, Jenny? 5-6 days ago, something
Yeah,
like that.
there was multiple people too. It wasn't just one creator. There was a bunch of them
Yes.
all over
So
the place. It wasn't just the same area. They were all over the place.
they were all over the place. One researcher, and I forget his name, and it's my fault, but said that when you have a military craft engaging a UFO or a UAP, I guess now is what it
Mhm.
would be called, that UAP knows it's not supposed to be in that area.
Yeah.
Now, let's look at the flip side. If it knows it's not supposed to be in that area, well, then where the hell area should it be in? So this is over a rural area. Jenny, let's just, in our state, you have Pittsburgh, you have Philadelphia, and there's not much in between.
Yeah.
That's where they can operate, where you're not going to get this. That was flying over highways, that was flying over developments, housing, very busy areas all over. What does that mean to us? Well, it means they wanted us to be seen. Why are UFOs saw in the first place? They want to be seen. If they didn't want to be seen, we wouldn't even know about it. And multiple different people. You heard that this was like a husband and a wife in a car, and then a Hispanic gentleman in his backyard.
Mm-hmm.
TikTok, for as much bad, and I'll admit it can be bad. You can do bad things on it. I guess you can, but for us in this community, leak it, put it out there, put it out there. And Nicole, I just saw your one. I wish they wouldn't just shoot them down right away. I don't know if they could. Do you, Jenny? How familiar are you with the disclosure hearings?
Pretty. Yeah,
So
I
you know
watched
David
all of them.
Grush.
Yeah,
And do you remember who the commander was to his left during that?
I don't remember his name, but I remember seeing him and listening to him.
I'm gonna look him up real quick. It is Ryan Graves. That's it. I was on the tip of my tongue. I needed to know the last name. So Commander Ryan Graves, who is a commander, right? So this isn't a pilot. This is a guy who makes the decisions behind. During the disclosure hearings, and UFO Revolution on Tubi, it's free to sign up if anyone has Tubi. It's not free for a little bit. It's always free. I love Tubi. UFO Revolution on there has a segment, and they have this clip from the disclosure hearings, and this goes into Nicole's question. They said, do you believe our military could shoot them down? And he said, there's absolutely no way we could have shot them down. And this was talking about the 2004 sighting. There's absolutely no way we could have shot them down in 2004. And there's absolutely no way we can shoot them down now. So when you talk about that and would they shoot them down, it's a mistake to even engage them. Even something as aggressive as tailing them, I think is a mistake. But if they were to pull the trigger or try to shoot them, I don't believe they would even cause a dent at all.
Yeah.
I saw that video too at I think you mean Area 51. And
there is an Area 52. Did you know that?
Oh, I did not. Is there?
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you about it someday.
Okay. So here's another thing. I believe Area 51 was used back in the day. I don't believe it's used anymore. I believe there is work still going on there.
Yeah.
I believe there is, different things that they're working on. But I believe craft now are actually at Nellis Air Force Base, about a few hundred miles north of Area 51, right in southern Nevada, right outside of Las Vegas. I believe that because as long as Area 51 is a distraction, no one's going to know where the real stuff goes. So that's my personal opinion about that. Wright-Patterson, that's where Kecksburg went, Jenny. It didn't go to Area 51. It went to Ohio. They need Area 51.
To Ohio.
A lot of it goes to Ohio. You're absolutely right.
That's where they sent the adult size beings that were on the area. Roswell craft went there first.
You're right.
And then who knows where else they went.
If anyone's familiar with Varginha, the Brazil Roswell, that craft was also sent to Ohio, which is and then the downed spacecraft from the Vatican in 1930s was also sent to Ohio.
I didn't know there was one in the Vatican. What do you mean?
Well, the Vatican got it because it was outside.
Okay.
It wasn't in the Vatican.
Oh,
it was outside in the mountains of Italy. No, I mean, the Vatican's like the size of Philadelphia. So if it went down anywhere in there, everybody would know. But no, the Vatican has their fingers on a lot of cover-up stuff pre-Roswell. America kind of took the baton, if you will, after Roswell with the UFO and cover up, but the Vatican has held a lot of information. Think of the 1930s. Think of the turmoil, especially in Europe. Think of everything that's going on. That the Italians and the Germans and the Swiss, all on different sides, came
Yeah.
together to document this craft. War looks really simple when you have a common enemy, doesn't it? It looks really
Mhm.
silly, I should say, when you have a common enemy. And that was sent over here in exchange. I believe it's in exchange. Don't quote me on this, but this is my conspiracy. The United States gave the Vatican several brownstone walk-ups in New York. The Vatican is the owner of a lot of property in the New York City
Oh,
area.
yeah, I bet. But
It
what's their
just
agenda? Why? Why?
they're not making enough money. Your collection plate money doesn't go all the way back to the
Well,
Vatican.
I don't give money to the church anymore unless I
Yeah?
specifically say it's going for my church because
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
paying for their lawsuits. I'm not giving them money for the lawsuits.
There you go. So,
Yeah.
um, it's an area where a brownstone walk-up, you're going to get your rent, right?
Mhm.
The people that are buying those or the people that are, renting those are
Mhm.
your surgeons, your doctors. You're gonna get your money. It's not, project housing.
Yeah. It's I really don't. I don't like. I don't know. But going back to the UFOs, there's so many on TikTok. I could stay there all night and just one after
Yeah.
watch one video after another. And I'm going to run something by you while we're on the live stream. So,
Sure. What's up?
because I want to know what. Well, Cindy or our audience, I was thinking of doing something like this one night, doing a TikTok live with you in our backdrop. With
Yeah.
our backdrop, and see what happens, and like run it like a show. But have it like a TikTok live, because I
I
can
think
do
that would be
lives. I don't know.
wonderful.
I think we should do it one night, maybe on whenever you can think of it. They said that weekends, believe it or not, are really good later, like about 9.
I'm up anyway. I would love to do that. I think that's a wonderful oh, look at Cindy. Look at Cindy. Cindy first in on that. Yes. We'll have
Yeah,
to
because
plan it out. I think that's
I'm
wonderful.
starting to I did a couple lives,
I've never done a
and
live.
we
How
made
did you like
had a lot of viewers. One, I think, I don't know if Gina's still there. She was listening. I don't know how many. We got pretty many listeners. I think it was like one was like 45,000. Was it 45? Oh, she's not there. That's a lot for for us, on TikTok.
Yeah,
So it was
I
pretty
think that's a
cool.
wonderful idea. If you want to do it this weekend, next week, any weekend, I am down because we can share videos, we can look at some
Yeah.
crazy stuff.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's fun to do lives on TikTok. Especially if you have
Oh,
two people, interacting, and then you have the comments, and we can read there's tons of comments.
yeah,
Tons of comments. Oh, we have to
absolutely.
think of a day. Because people they're like, they want stuff to listen to, and they
Yeah.
like to be entertained. I mean, when it comes to the paranormal, they like listening to the I just saw a video of my granddaughter. My daughter-in-law has a video. She has like the nanny cams in her room. So at night,
Oh,
and
okay.
she's not quite 2, and she's sitting on the floor playing with her little stuffed animal. It's so cute.
Aw.
You see some
Sebastian, hello to you
She
too.
likes to talk to people that aren't there. It's really crazy. Hey, Sebastian.
Sebastian,
Good
are
to
you
he
going to join our TikTok live stream that we're going to put out? Let us know.
It's fun to do TikTok. I mean, I try to do content. Anytime I see something, I try to. But you can. There's creators out there that actually make an income, and you have to be consistent. And I'm not
Oh, we didn't
consistent.
forget you, Nicole. We know you're going to be there.
Yeah, Nicole. Yeah, you'll be surprised some of the strange people you get. It was funny last night. Or wasn't last night. It was like 4:30 in the morning. I'm watching TikTok or scrolling through TikTok, and I come across this actor. I mean, the video was so like a
What?
movie. I
Yeah.
can't remember his name, but he has a new series on Apple. But he was like, he talks really, like, and he's looking right into the camera. But it's the camera quality is so good. It looks like a motion picture. And he kept on saying goodbye. I'm leaving. He shuts off. He did it twice. And I said, this is probably just some kind of video stream that's repeating
Yeah.
like on a loop. So he starts talking again and I go, this is a joke. And he goes, no, Jen. He goes, yes, Jenny, it is a joke. Life is a joke. I go, oops, it's real.
Oh,
I thought he was
crap.
fake or it was a recording.
Yeah.
He says, Jenny, it is, it is, the life is a joke. And he goes on
Yeah.
to this philosophical quoting, but it was funny because I thought for sure it was like an AI. I couldn't tell if it was real or
Can
not.
people get too philosophical for you? They can get too
No.
philosophical for me, and I'm just like, all right, shut up.
You should post your UFOs on TikTok. People love to watch this. There's one guy that has a cheese hat. He's from Wisconsin. I love he does
Jeez.
like all these. Yeah, he wears a cheese.
I need to get a hat. I'm missing the memo. Hats are where it's at for
Maybe I
streaming.
should wear my hat.
Yeah.
But
But Nicole, if you have videos of your UFOs and we do this live, we'll make sure to put yours first. So please bring the content.
we're at that witching hour, aren't we?
Oh yeah.
Sean's
We
gonna
lost
start
5
soon.
minutes, everyone. Call up
Ooh, we did.
UPRN and complain. We lost 5 minutes.
Actually, it was 10 minutes, wasn't it?
No, 7:10 to 8:05.
Oh, so we're over a minute. Oh well. Sorry. Oh well. Well, folks, we will see you next week, same time, same channel. And just remember, we love you.
We do.
And we'll see you next week. And hopefully, if
Stay
we
weird,
get this,
everyone.
we will post on Facebook if we do a TikTok live this weekend.
Absolutely.
And thanks for the comments, guys. Cindy, Nicole, Gina, Mark,
Sebastian. Yeah.
Sebastian. Well, we'll see you all next week, same time. Have a
You
great
rock,
rest of your
Cindy.
week. Enjoy the weekend.